I thought my F12 was crazy. This thing is
this thing's
nuts. Only year by Mercedes, not custom.
All factory. Around 100 were built.
And at over $1 million price tag.
Yes, sir. We got the freshest, newest one right in front of us, 2025 full electric G-Wagon.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Chillin with Chet. Today I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona, and we are at Luxury Auto Collection. I have a good friend, Chad, here. He works here. He's invited me in to take a look at his massive collection of cars that they have for sale and maybe go out and drive a few of them and do, kind of some cool videos, some comparison tests. One of the cool ones they have is the new G-Wagon Electric 580. I would have to say that's kind of one of the coolest ones out right now as far as electric vehicles go. Some say I'm kind of a connoisseur of electric vehicles. I've had quite a few and wrecked quite a few. But not today. Today we're just gonna have a good time. We're gonna go through some of the line of G-Wagons that have come out. They have an amazing collection. They even have the 6x6 here. So if I could twist their arm a little bit and get that one out on the road, I'll definitely show it to you guys. But before we do that, let's go inside. Let's meet Chad. Let's see all the cars, see what they got going on today. Hey, Chad.
Hey, how's it going, sir? You as well, welcome in.
All right.
Thanks for coming up.
I thought maybe before we get to doing a little comparison, let's take a walk around, show us your awesome collection.
Let's do it. Let's check out the showroom.
All right.
The toy box.
I've been here so many times, I'll tell you, kicking tires. You guys have been great. Always nice, relaxed environment. The last thing I ever felt was pushed to buy anything.
Never will.
Maybe you should.
Yeah, maybe a little
Maybe
more.
I would have bought one by now.
Nah, maybe. We'll get you on the next one.
Yeah.
For sure.
So he's got some really cool stuff here. I'll let you kind of take the lead, point out some of the cooler stuff that you have.
Sounds
to me,
good.
all of it's amazing. So.
It's all a lot of fun, that's for sure. Big variety in here.
Like, let's just start with this one.
2014 Mercedes SLS Black Series. One of 350 cars produced, one of 30 in this color. 6,000 miles, one owner car, perfect service history, just the primo example.
Wow.
10-year-old car with no miles.
Right.
Blue chip collectible, really.
Not my style. Mine is this, but about 10,000 miles.
Fair, fair.
I got to drive my stuff.
Yeah, I hear that.
What are you guys asking for something like that?
That car's listed at $749,999.
All right.
Really nice
I don't even know what the market is on those.
It's all over the map. Just depends on miles.
I just love how
all that fun stuff.
they were the cheap, well, not this one, but they were the cheaper of the two. The convertible was more expensive.
Yep.
And then it's flipped over
But now
time.
the gull wings have just skyrocketed in value. Even a base SLS now. It's hard to get. You're going to pay double MSRP, all that stuff.
I recognize the F12 here. I have one.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
This F8's pretty dang cool. Full Kivani body kit, pure 1000 turbos, upgraded exhaust.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know I had the turbo kit too.
Yeah, local company did the build on this car. When we got it, the stripe was red, interior was white and red. We actually changed it out for the better, I think.
I thought my F12 was crazy. This thing is
this thing's nuts.
Actually,
the sound's insane. To drive it is just, it's
really?
pure speed. It's
yeah,
crazy.
with the turbos and the, with the V6. It's a
V8 twin
V8,
turbo.
they are V8, that's right, yeah.
3.9 liter, I believe.
Yeah, I bet it's a monster. And next to it is like base. Is that the base?
This is actually a very highly equipped F8.
Okay.
So Tour de France blue metallic over Giallo interior, matte black roof, bone stock, but just a ton of options.
What else we got? We got tons of cool
we got
stuff.
Porsche over here. We skipped two 992 GT3 RSs.
The market's getting a little bit softer, so it might be a good time to
It's leveled out a little bit. These are both 2024s. This car's got 1,200 miles on it. It is a non-Y-stock car.
Oh, wow.
Which is kind of fun.
Why did they even do that?
Price point maybe, $30,000 package or whatever it is. One next to it's a 5,000 mile full Y-stock car. It's got
I love
stealth
that paint.
wrap on it. So it's actually a gloss white car.
Oh, so is this the PPF?
It is a PPF, is stealth they call it, to give it that matte or satin look.
I did that on my Rivian I had for a while. I loved it. It was a great.
So cool, and it protects the paint. It keeps it fresh. Look at the wheels. They're almost identical, but these are magnesium wheels on this car, probably similar to your.
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
no,
when my GT2 RS was built, they did not have that option. The factory had burned down. Then they came back and reached out, but I never got the message that you could go buy the magnesium wheels, and by that time it was too late.
Dang it. Now they're big bucks to buy.
Now they're like 30 grand or something. Stupid.
We get a few really pretty Aston Martins. I don't know that there's much
gorgeous
prettier of a car from a manufacturer.
Honestly, I do love them.
Paint's insane on it. Interior's over the top.
You guys had the one before. I was very close to pulling the trigger on it.
Didn't have enough carbon fiber for you.
Yeah, I needed more fiber.
This one, I like the window frame is even carbon. The forged carbon badges.
Yeah, that's nice too. So then you have come back here, you have quite a few G-Wagons.
We've got the freshest, newest one right in front of us, 2025 580E, full electric G-Wagon.
I love the matte paint. It looks so nice.
Factory
That's factory,
matte
right?
Paint, yep.
And
this
it doesn't
car's
have
got
many miles.
60 miles on it or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
Brand new car.
So I really feel privileged that you're going to let us take a look at it and
we'll
review
take
it.
her for a spin.
And then tank turn it all around the neighborhood.
Right? We're not doing it. Absolutely not.
All right, what else we got?
We got kind of our electric section over here under the flag. We can do a couple Teslas and we'll get some Rivians.
There's a dream car of mine, the Pista.
The Pista, that's a beast.
I love the silver. I would delete the stripe if I could, and it'd be perfect.
Stripe's actually not factory, so easy to take off. It's just vinyl.
Right. That's cool too, kind of showing your setup too, where you guys clean up all the cars, but I love your photo booth.
The photo booth is super cool. A company called 360 Booth. I think we were one of the first ones in the state with these.
Yeah.
Keeps all our pictures uniform. You go on dealers' sites where they take pictures outside and you never know the background. You never know if the car's actually there or not.
This GTC 4 Lusso is definitely one I've been looking at myself.
Very
Not
cool
a fan
cars.
of the rims.
Yeah, but that's powder coat away from being whatever you want it to be.
You can definitely change them up if you wanted.
But V12, 4 seats, all-wheel drive. Gotta love it.
We're definitely gonna be making a video with my F12, and it's similar motor. You've heard it.
Oh yeah, that car's a beast.
It screams.
This is one of my favorites in the building, 04 360 Challenge Stradale. This
these are
car
pretty cool.
came out of a guy's collection, perfectly serviced throughout its whole life. Really, really nice, clean example.
Wow, it literally is brand new inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, still getting 300,000 for that, huh?
Yes, sir.
That's crazy.
Well, these have
it's
along
a
the lines
special
of the
edition,
SLS,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Those limited production cars are always going to go up in value.
Yeah.
Do a fair amount of McLarens.
I've looked at these too for a little softer of a supercar style.
GT is a great, exactly what it is, Grand Touring car. You could daily drive this car. You could drive it from here to LA.
What I was actually taken back by is how many cars you guys move, like 100 units a month.
Right about 100 a month.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I never would have thought in a million years you guys pushed that
wild.
many.
And
but that's online too.
Online, nationwide, literally worldwide.
Do you have other locations?
No.
Okay, just here. Yep. And you guys sell jets and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, crazy.
We got, I want to say we have 4 or 5 private jets in stock right now. We do a fair amount of Challengers. We'll get a Gulfstream here and there.
So we also have all these Uruses here. I'm going to compare one. We just got to pick one, right?
Yep.
We have the wide body. We have the stock. We have the flat, black. Whatever looks good on camera, I think we'll pick later, and that'll be a fun one to review.
It will be a fun one. Those are
yeah,
fun
I think I'm going to like it a lot more than my Audi, which I'll get into later, but it comes down to throttle control, which most people wouldn't even think of that, but it's a real problem with these Audis.
That's fair, and I've only driven a couple of the RSQ8s.
Yeah.
We get them here and there. They sell stupid fast because they're a
very rare.
Price option better than
the price is amazing on them too. And then you have some amazing Lamborghinis, and this SF90?
This is the SF90, that car's sold, waiting for delivery to its new owner.
That's a pretty good deal. The market on these has come down a lot.
It's gotten where it should be, I think. It's really
They were almost
$1
million before. I remember
this
even
car
coming here, you had $1 million one.
Yep, this car sold for right at $500,000.
Oh, wow. What a great deal, actually. Like
black car, really well optioned, carbon wheels. It's the Assetto Fiorano package.
That's one thing I have noticed with you guys. Like sometimes you'll have actually the cheapest one in the whole country, which is smart.
Well,
that's probably helps you.
We went to a one-price philosophy about 18 months ago, and we really watched the market and try to be aggressive and price it where it should be, so that you don't have to come in and beat us up, and we don't have to beat you up. Right?
Yeah, and it's a good deal.
Have fun about it.
Yeah. Well, this one over here, we're still twisting arms.
Yeah, we're twisting arms. We'll probably get it out today.
Maybe. I think I would love to just put it down the street. I don't know. This thing is crazy.
It's 2014 production year.
Only year.
Only year they
by
made
Mercedes,
them. By
not
Mercedes,
custom.
all factory. Around 100 were built.
Right.
No matter how much research we've done, we can't find an exact number. They were never imported to the U.S. This is our 5th one.
Yeah, that's crazy. You guys have moved that many.
It's wild.
And at over $1 million price tag.
Yes, sir. And they've come down. I want to say when the first one we sold was probably $1.4 million, $1.5 million.
Yeah.
This one's been completely federalized, legalized for use in all 50 states.
Okay.
Also has about 150 grand in Weiss Tech upgrades under the hood. So this one gets up and moves.
I bet it's got to be an experience.
The sound's amazing.
Yeah, these are incredible. I mean, they just chop off that whole rear and add a truck
and
bed.
it's a full custom chassis, right? Yeah. It's one off essentially, or 100
You need to look
off.
in the. You got to look at the bed. Did you see how crazy? It's just wood.
Yeah, it's like
and he
a
thinks that's
69
factory, so
C10 with an oak bed in it.
Yeah,
right?
It's got a dry oak bed. It's not. It's like literally for throwing in actually work equipment there.
Pretty dang cool and super duper capable. 4 or 5 lockers, full central tire inflation system like an H1 Hummer.
I have this in an RC car version.
Exactly.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. So maybe I'll trick the viewers at home and I'll go home and jump it. And
you absolutely should.
Zoom in, tie it on slow-mo. So, all right, well, I think that's basically it. We also have a ton of Rolls Royces.
Ton of Rolls Royce.
And one of them is the electric Rolls Royce. I'm thinking if you guys want, I'll come back, I'll review that electric one, which I think is pretty cool. I think that's probably gonna be the future of Rolls Royce to me.
I believe it is. I believe by 2026, Rolls and Bentley are going full electric across their line.
Quiet, powerful. It's everything you want in those types of luxury vehicles, and riding around in the back on your phone, that's what you want, right?
Exactly. Well, and to drive a V12 twin turbo Rolls right now is silent inside. It's even more so. It's
right. All right. Well, I say we get to it. We'll get out of your guys' way. We'll go review some of these G-Wagons we set up.
Sounds good.
Knock out the Urus one later and just have a good time today.
Sounds like fun to me.
If we need you, I know where to call.
Look forward to it.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
All right, guys, here we have it. Finally, we're gonna do a review of these G-Wagons. I got them to let me bring a few of them out back and do a review of them. We're gonna go over things that I like and what I don't like. Now, I'm not a professional car review guy per se, but I do have a lot of experience, especially in the G-Wagon. This is the old G-Wagon. I think it's a 2017 G63. In this day, this was the cream of the crop. Then they upgraded in 2019 to these G-Wagons. This is a G63. This actually is my personal, well, my wife's G-Wagon that she drives every day. Then if you want the newest and the greatest, they now have a G580 EQ. This is the electric version, as you guys might have seen on social media and some other platforms, where it actually does a tank spin, which is kind of crazy. And then just for fun, we have this massive 4x4 squared. This is the older style, I guess you would say. It's probably gonna ride a little bit rougher, but as far as cool factor goes, it's pretty cool. There's also another very cool one. It's the 6x6. I'm still kind of twisting their arm to get that one taken out to do a review of that one. But for now, we have these 4. I think we'll just go ahead and start with the older G63, the black one down there, and we'll just jump right into it. All right, guys, here we are in the, what I would consider the older, previous generation G63. I think this is a 2017, and it is 416 horsepower and 450 foot-pounds of torque. It is a twin turbo 4.0, similar liter, obviously the same as the new one, but it's a different engine. They're rated at conservatively, I think. I bet you it feels pretty good at only 416. Isn't that funny? Saying 416. But just from first impression, I have never been in one. I've never driven one till today, until we're about to go on a drive. And I think they're a little dated. They're actually not bad. Other Mercedes have like a ton of buttons on the front. They're very dated with the screens and everything else. I actually don't think this one's too bad. It wouldn't be obnoxious to drive it daily as far as the look goes. I'm sure the Bluetooth probably hooks up just fine and everything works. But to be honest, these kind of still fit the bill if you want a real functional G-Wagon or a Jeep and don't want to break the bank doing it. I think these ones go for anywhere from like 40 to 50 to 60,000, depending on how many miles. And you know, it's the AMG, which is the top model back in the day. So without further ado, let's start it up. Let's go for a little drive around the block and see how she runs. Startup sounds great. Like all AMGs, I think have some of the best sounds in the industry as far as startups and cold starts. Got a good rumble to it. One thing I really do enjoy about these that I found in my wife's newer 63 is that they're very small. Actually, the footprint's nice and small. The maneuverability in parking lots is really actually nice. It's not like driving around a big truck by any means. It's a decent experience, you know, living with one in the city. I can see why they're so popular, you know, in the urban areas. All right, steering wheel's pretty firm, I will say that. Overall, kind of feels exactly the same. Everybody kind of says that they are going to ride a little bit rougher than the new ones, so we'll find out here shortly if that is the case. All right, let's see what kind of power it has. Feels pretty good. Not bad, actually. Only 407 horsepower. That's kind of crazy. It feels pretty good. It feels more like 500. I have 550, something around that range. It's got pretty good get up. It's riding pretty nice on the freeway, I will say. It's a little bobby weavy, I guess you would say. I feel like the front tires are out of balance on this one right now. Got a little shake in the steering wheel, unfortunately. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm actually shocked right now. I thought this thing would have been terrible on the road. It would be bouncy, you know, all over the place. It's actually not bad at all. Now, I haven't pushed it. I've only been driving it for 5 minutes, but first impression, pretty good. Okay, so earlier when I looked up the stats on this, I thought it was saying 480 horsepower, and that's not correct. It's 563 horsepower, which makes more sense. Driving enough vehicles that are over 500 horsepower in my life, that's kind of what it felt like. It was about 500 and something, so that makes more sense. Honestly, guys out there, if you're looking for a G-Wagon, I'm not kidding, this, you know, generation is not bad. It's not bad at all, and they're like half the cost of what the new ones are, if not less than half the cost. I think you probably get these in like 40, 50, $60,000 range. I don't know the exact price on this one with 46,000 miles on it is. It can't be that bad compared to what they were when they were new and what the new ones are going for. The new ones are still going for high 100, 200,000. They were up at 300,000 during the high days about, you know, what, year and a half ago. So, you know, they've come down dramatically under sticker price at least, and they're, you know, a little bit more affordable. But the good thing is it's brought the value of these ones way down as well. So to get into them, I think you can. Now, I will say though, owning more expensive cars, the older they get, you have to maintain them. And there are things that do go wrong with these. I mean, I'm sure you could have a bad transmission, you can have a turbo go out, you can have some bigger ticket items fail on you, and that's always the big difference when you jump up to these more expensive but cheaper value cars is the maintenance. You got to be able to afford the maintenance. You got to be able to afford the few $100 oil changes and being able to put in a new transmission if it needs it. You know, those types of things can get very, very costly when compared to a normal domestic vehicle, you know, or an import Japanese or Korean vehicle. So I absolutely love these. My wife loves hers. I think they're great. I've often said I would get an older model like this and turn it into my daily driver. We're looking at moving, you know, and going out to Colorado and living out, you know, probably out on a dirt road. This might actually be a nice alternative to a really nice, capable SUV, and has plenty of power. And I love how heavy they are in a world of, you know, crumple zones and lightweight vehicles. To kind of have the heavier vehicle will win in all those accidents. Not that you need to be driving a Ram around that just rips cars in half if you get in an accident, but if you're going to put your family in a vehicle, you know, like people put them in Volvos because of the crash ratings. I'm sure the crash ratings have to be pretty good with these. They are high off the ground. They probably have a rollover rate that's higher than most vehicles, especially with these older generations. But I think for the most part, it's going to be a really, really safe, heavy vehicle. And as they get cheaper and cheaper, I think they're going to be great vehicles for, you know, teenagers if they want to put them in something big and heavy. I mean, that used to be the thing for me when I always said I was going to get my daughter a big, heavy Mercedes. You know, just they're going to get in a wreck, they're going to do dumb things, and you want them protected. And these older Mercedes, definitely fit that bill. If you've never been around one, you've never owned one, the first thing you're going to notice is the fit and finish of a Mercedes. It's got a heavier duty panels. The paint is superior compared to, you know, a Honda with thinnest paint possible, with the thinnest sheet metal possible. You know, these are heavier. But on the other side, these, terrible gas mileage, probably 12, 10, 11, 12 miles to the gallon. So you're getting terrible. You have to put premium in them. That's another expensive thing that you're going to get with these. but with the Mercedes and the other cars, when we're talking about that actually, those V6s, I used to have an E320, and that thing got 28 miles a gallon, 26 miles to the gallon. It was a fantastic car. So you never, you know, you think that you can only get that out of a Honda or a Toyota or the Korean cars, but you can actually get a very nice daily drivable vehicle out of the older Mercedes. Now, you're also going to have to deal with the older infotainment systems, and you know, the dashes and stuff, they had that orange look to them. It's not ideal, but if you can put up with that, and maybe, you know, most of them have Bluetooth, I think you're going to do pretty well. Now I'm going to jump in my G-Wagon and take that one for a spin and let you guys hear all about that one. All right, we are off in the new generation G63. This particular model is the 2019, so it's the first year that they came out with this new setup. The new setup changed quite a few things as far as like ride comfort, ride quality, interior infotainment system, every single thing they went through. They even changed all the panels, even though they look very, very similar. You know, there are some differences, but you have to really know what you're looking for. So until today, really, I didn't even know all the differences. So this one actually has a Rentec tune on it. The Rentec tune bumps up the horsepower to 731 horsepower and 786 foot-pounds of torque. That's up 88 horsepower from the original factory horsepower. So this one, we put 50,000 miles on this one. So it's the same mileage as that 17 we just drove. And I also found out it did just sell, and it sold for $70,000. So they actually are still fairly expensive. They are still getting quite a bit for them. I thought that they would be down to, you know, $40,000-$50,000 range, 60,000, and maybe they are. Maybe some high mileage ones, you know, over 100,000 miles. But to be honest, I think these trucks are built to last hundreds of thousands of miles. They're not really designed to be just left on the showroom floor or pampered or babied. So I'm gonna get on it right now and kind of feel that power I feel every day, and I love this thing. That right there is about almost 200 more than the last G-Wagon, and it's noticeable for sure. The other cool thing is these have dynamic seats, so the bolsters in the side have a little air pocket, and they puff up when you go around corners to make you more supported. They did a lot of things to make you feel more secure and more balanced in these, because they are so top heavy. They do have a tendency to feel like they're going to tip over. Take this out on the freeway and kind of let you see. I mean, it is a very, very smooth vehicle. They have done a lot to refine this, and like I said, the last one didn't feel that bad. Actually, I was expecting, you know, a tank of a vehicle type feel, and to be honest, it felt pretty good. Another thing that they've done with these is they've added, I could tell, quite a bit more sound deadening. It's a lot more quiet in here, less wind noise, which is nice. Let's catch up. Monster. I don't even know if it's in a sport mode or not. It just jumps right into gear. What I can tell you right now is, and it stays in the tall gear, you know, ready for you to go. So that's kind of nice. It's very aggressive. I think I'm going to go over some of the things that I really dislike about this vehicle, because there are some, and some of the things that I really enjoy about this. So I guess let's just start with the things that I really dislike about this. I could probably rattle them off the top of my head. I wrote some notes down, but for the most part, I think I know what they are. The lane keep assist. Every time you get in the vehicle, you have to turn it off. It's a button down here. If you're kind of not paying attention, or you kind of drift to the middle or the center line, it will grab the brakes and like severely push you back into the lane. It's like an emergency style lane keep assist. It's terrible. It's overly aggressive. There's a ton of information on the chat forums about it. People can't stand it. The other thing is the crash pre-sense warning is way too sensitive. That gets turned off every time I have to get in the vehicle. The other thing that I have to turn off is the stop start. I can't stand the stop start. I wish they could do something about them. I wish it was a software thing that they could reprogram, but everything I found online, there's really no fix for that. Okay, so something that is really good, but I will say that is not the best with these, is also ride quality. I'm saying ride quality is fantastic with these for what they are. The ride quality is impressive. It's far superior than the last one, but it is still kind of a bumpy ride. So if you're coming out of a Range Rover or another high-end luxury vehicle, you're gonna notice they are a little bumpy, they are a little top heavy. The ride system that they put in this is fantastic. It's superior, but it's really compensating for a big, heavy, you know, Jeep tank type vehicle. But they do a really, really good job, I will say. Another thing that I would say is not the greatest is cost. They are very expensive. I got this one, I feel like it was one of the cheapest ones in the country at $140,000 at the time, but it still had 49,000 miles on it. But being the newer generation, I knew it would be a good solid pickup. One thing I didn't account for, and I didn't notice until I had a problem, was the main seal blew out in this, and I had a massive oil leak underneath the car. I even had a rear leak in the rear differential. Something you would never expect in something like these. Everybody says the reliability is through the roof on these, and I had a massive problem, a $6,000 problem. It probably would have been about $10,000 at a Mercedes dealership, but I took it to a local Mercedes shop and they fixed it up for me. Actually, it took a couple times actually to get it right. They had ordered and Mercedes sent them the wrong part. It was quite an ordeal for about a month of first owning this vehicle. It was in the shop getting this massive oil leak fixed, and apparently it's just with the 2019. So buyer beware. If you guys go find one of these ones, definitely ask about that, see if it's been fixed. I think a dealership would have done it at some point if it was new at the beginning of the life of the car before the warranties expired, but my warranty expired and I had to pay for it in full. And one of the last gripes I think I would have about this is there's no touchscreen. They may have changed that in future generations. I'm assuming they did, but in this one in 2019, there is no touchscreen. You have to go through the different knobs and the buttons that they've created. It was basically their way of not having touchscreen. It's like a BlackBerry with the little mouse. And to be honest, I actually think the software is from BlackBerry. They actually still do create quite a bit of stuff for vehicles, actually. So those are the cons I would say I have with this. Now for the positive things. One is the power, the sound, the ride. I do love all of that. You know, I say ride, but I do like the firmer, stiffer ride. It feels like it's very capable, and it is very capable. That is another thing that I really like about this. Knowing that I put on some nicer Nitto tires and some all-terrains, and I could probably go pretty much anywhere in this thing at any point, if I'm okay with scratching it up a little bit, or you know, getting my desert stripes, as you say out here in Arizona. Now, like I said, the power is incredible. It's actually probably a little too much for this chassis, to be honest, and the sound is great. The other thing that I have a pet peeve with, like what you're gonna find out when I review my Audi RS-Q8, is the throttle response. The throttle response in this is fantastic. It's immediate. They haven't fiddled with it to delay your throttle response to get 0.00 better gas mileage. I also had mentioned earlier is the size of these vehicles. I love how small they are. They aren't small, but they aren't massive. They aren't a third row. They literally can fit in any compact spot. I love it when we park it in my garage next to the Audi every day. It provides like a foot more of side to side room in my garage, and it's actually a really, really nice thing. I also do love one great feature I'm glad that these have is radar cruise control. It's probably one of my favorite more modern features in vehicles these days. Apparently the new electric version has also lane keep assist that's pretty modernized, and it's not jerky like this one. So that in conjunction with radar cruise control is a massive upgrade for these things. So now, without further ado, let's jump in the electric one and see what it feels like. Okay, I'm in the electric G580 EQ. First off, let me get the stereo off somewhere. There we go. There still are buttons in these things, so that's really nice. I will say, most electric cars, they get rid of all the buttons. This has a ton of buttons, and I would say an equal amount of buttons as the 2019 that I just drove. The steering wheel is a little bit different. They've modernized it. They've done a few little things. Like I said, they also updated the lane keep assist with the radar cruise control. But the fun thing is when you start this, it has a little rumble to it. So let's try to get that again. Let's see. Oh, it just did it again. Okay, let's see. Like turned off and rumbled. Let me try it again. Can you hear that? It doesn't shake, but it's got a little speaker rumble, which is kind of funny. And I'm in strong recuperation. I guess that's my regen, so I don't have to hit the brakes very often. Let's see here. Yeah, we have all these different dynamic modes too, which I think I should play with. I normally don't play with them because, like I said, the G63 is dialed in any mode. It's pretty dang good. But let's just go ahead and just do it and leave it in sport. Let's go to comfort. We'll start in comfort. We'll see how comfortable this one is. It's making a little noise, like a electric car noise. It might make a sound. Some electric cars do that, where when you're driving around, they want pedestrians to know that you're creeping up on them so you don't run them over and they have a chance to get out of the way. So I will say though, first impression feels exactly the same as mine. It definitely has a sound to it, like a rumble. Which is interesting. That's probably a feature. You could probably turn it off if you want. We are back. GoPro overheated. Weird, right? Whoever thought that would ever happen? All right, I got it in sport mode. It definitely has a nice sound to it. Let's see what the pickup feels like. Yeah. Ooh, I like that. That feels pretty good. It's punchy every time. Now, they say the 0 to 60 is a little bit slower than in the G63, but it's probably only tenths of a second off. It's not very much. Not really going to notice it, but you will feel the immediate torque. The torque's at 800 on this. That's a tremendous amount, especially when it's there at all times. I will say, you know, coming from the electric vehicles I've driven, the Tesla, the Rivian, the F-150, it feels pretty good. I definitely say it's definitely not a Tesla feel, but it's up there. I'd say the Rivian tops it, but the definitely a lot more than the F-150. All right, well, my quick impression of this vehicle is it's exactly what you would hope it would be. It's nice and quiet. It's got tons of power. It's very refined, and I'm going to tell you, I took that Rivian out in the four-wheel drive with it. I put some all-terrain tires on it. 1 for the look, 2 for the off-road ability, and 3, they don't have much of a road noise issue with those ones. And it was incredible off-road. I'm gonna say this thing is gonna be equally as incredible. And it also has that cool tank turn. So, you know what? Let's go do a tank turn right now. Yes, of course that was my tank turn. That wasn't tank turn footage off the internet.
Oh yeah, sure, right.
But back to what I was saying, I definitely love these vehicles. They have a little special place with my car life and like what I enjoy in vehicles. They're big, they're heavy. But I will say, going all the way back to the first one I drove, the older generation, they're kind of bouncy. This is kind of bouncy. It is kind of what it is. These ones are just a little bit more refined, and you'll definitely notice it if you can afford something like this. Now these I think are all going over sticker, maybe 10, 20, 30, 40,000 over sticker. They're gonna be really hard to find right now, but if you can find one, like the one that they have here. This one's still available. You have to inquire for the current pricing, but I'm gonna guess that it's around 210,000. Tell them Uncle Chet sent you. Maybe you'll get a little deal.
How much for the Trans Am?
200 grand, I'll give it to you for 80. No payments till January.
I'll take it.
This one here actually is a launch car. They call it Edition 1. It's a very common thing that they do now. Like the new Range Rover has that as well. But now they're getting to the second, third years where they're calling them autobiographies now. So this one, who knows what it'll be. I'm assuming they're probably gonna make an AMG version, come out with a, even more horsepower, even more torque, have even more bells and whistles maybe. But with the G-Wagon, they don't change a lot from the AMG to the base model, if you will. They do have a lot of capability. The four-wheel drive systems are all the same. And a lot of times they're the same motors, especially like the G63 to the 560. They're the same exact engine. They're just detuned. And that's kind of a neat thing. If you're willing to tune them and void your warranty, which I know all about, you can definitely get the horsepower pretty similar to the G63. Also, I didn't go over range. I think the range they're going to promote in this is 300, 310. When I jumped in, it had about 90%. It had 286 mile range or something like that. Right now at 94%, it's saying 242 miles. Now, these range computers are all over the map. My Tesla was not accurate at all. The Rivian was very accurate. I didn't have the F-150 long enough to know the exact range and how well that was. Met its unfortunate demise way too soon in its life with me. As far as these trip computers go, I find that they're not as honest as you would hope, but over time they supposedly learn your driving habits and they get a little bit more accurate over time, is what they say. All right, and one thing I didn't go over, it has 4 motors, and that's how they do the tank turn, is that they have individual motors and individual transmissions as well. I definitely think it's still just a 1-speed transmission. I'm not feeling a shift here. They're probably all independently driven, and they have to have their own little transmission, probably for gear ratio issues. I doubt it's a 1-to-1 drive. They probably have a geared up or geared down setup with those transmissions. But I could be speaking out of turn. That may not be the case. But that would be my logic when they have a 4-transmission, 4-motor setup in these things. All right, now for fun, I thought I'd jump in the 4x4 squared and take you guys out in that one. All right, guys, now we are in the G580 4x4 squared. It has 415 horsepower, 460 foot-pounds of torque. This one's a 2018. It's got 30,000 miles and it's a 1 owner. So it was well taken care of. The female owner put 30,000 miles on this. I'm actually shocked. Apparently she upgraded to the new one with a Brabus edition, but this one, let's start it up, see how it sounds. I bet it sounds pretty good. Yeah, sounds pretty good. Now, this one is not the the AMG, I should say. It's just a normal G550 base as what it's based on. This one doesn't get an increase in horsepower or anything, but it does have the same engine as the AMG, which means you probably could tune these and, get the horsepower up quite a bit. Probably 100 horsepower, I'm assuming. I'll tell you though, getting in and out of this, it's very, very high. It doesn't have a step stool that pops down, a little step rail. It's definitely a chore to get in and out. It's you got to just be kind of into it, to be in a big lifted vehicle. A lot of people are. They daily drive them. They put hundreds of thousands of miles on their vehicles when they're super tall and lifted and it doesn't bother them. But a guy like me, I do have big vehicles, big trucks too, but I definitely shy away from driving them every day just because they're so big. They're kind of obnoxious to deal with. This one definitely has a massive road presence. I think, the squared look to it is unique. The way they do that is, if you didn't know, it's got portal axles, and the portal axles allow that to get that higher lift look without the dropped drivetrain. So the drivetrains are not as low as what you would normally have, and you don't have the differential hanging down low and all that. I think these are about 18 inches of clearance, and the stock ones are about 9 inches of clearance. So with that portal axle, you're getting about 10 inches increase there, and it definitely shows. You can feel all of it when you get in and out of these things. All right. It's got it warmed up. Let's see what it feels like. Not bad. I'd be very curious to see what the driveline power loss is in this. If it's the standard, what, 15-20%? Probably a little bit more. Going through the portal axles and the big massive tires. The tires look huge. They're probably 36s at least. Everything about this is big. All right, let's take it on the freeway and see how she feels. It's a little bit lower on power. Doesn't rock back. Still has plenty of power. I mean, you can definitely feel the V8 twin turbo has got a lot of power. That's for sure. All right, like in all of them today, you do have a little wind noise. This one's a little bit louder as far as the wind noise goes. A little bouncy, a little stiffer. Now, I will say I'm not driving it on a really rough road today. I'm not going off-road. I'm not doing all that stuff to give it a real, you know, full put it through its paces. But just as in general, just the drive and feel of it, I can say it's actually not that bad. It's just like driving a big truck. So as far as this one goes, you know, the feel is basically the same on the interior as the other 17 I drove. Not much different there, to be honest, other than being up off the ground. It kind of feels the same. So again, guys, the stats on this, it's 2018, 30,000 miles. It is for sale though at 160,000. Honestly, I think that's a pretty good bargain. If you want a vehicle that stands out from the crowd and you want this G-Wagon look, I will say this is a pretty cool car. There's no way around it. This definitely be a fun vehicle out in the dirt, four-wheeling, going maybe doing a little mud bogging with it. Just to kind of put it through its paces. I'm sure it would do well. It has full lockers. It has different modes for the suspension and low range. But as you see, it's in comfort mode. It's still a little bouncy, you know, going through the bouncier part of this drive. Kind of bangs you around a little bit, that's for sure. Okay guys, so overall, vehicle's not bad. It doesn't drive that bad. It just feels like kind of like a lifted Ford with the solid front axle. You know, what kind of buyer would want something like this? I think it'd be somebody who wants to stand out for sure, has something unique, and maybe also somebody that wants something capable that can actually four-wheel drive over anything. You know, the ground clearance is superior with these portal axles, so it'd be a lot of fun to take out and do some four-wheel driving with it. But I mean, driving around the city, it still kind of has the same smaller feel to it when you have to, you know, maneuver in and out of parking lots. I wouldn't say that's ruined by the squareness of it and the lift that they put on it. Still pretty nice. So overall, I just think it would be somebody who doesn't want to spend, you know, $300,000-$400,000 on the brand new one, but would like the same cool, unique look and stand out, you know, as far as what other people are driving down the road. You're probably going to be the only one in your neighborhood or even in your city that has something like this. All right, guys, so as a quick comparison, let's go over all the different variations so that when you're driving down the road, you can kind of tell which one is which. I still have a hard time with it for sure, between this G63 and the older G63. But let me show you a couple little things. One, on the new 63, this crash bar is down low. That's probably the #1 way you can find out. These G63 and then the 550s or whatever the other model is of these, I think they're both high. I don't think they have a variance where one's low and one's high. Also, this little vent right here, you can definitely tell there. They're also a different size, but you can't tell that from the outside. Even these are a little bit different, the lights there. These ones actually look a little bit better to me than the new ones. Kind of odd. And then back here, these tail lights are a little bit bigger on the older models. Now, compared to this new one and the new electric one, this has gone through a refresh. The big thing is this cool little squared piece back here, which actually locks and unlocks with the door, which is kind of cool. I think they make these probably made by, I think their name, how you pronounce them, is Tool. It's like T-H-U-L-L or whatever. Thule. They make the top racks and stuff for vehicles. That's what they feel like. So if you're wondering how it feels, it's kind of the same plasticky feeling, but built well. So that's how you can kind of tell in the back between the electric and the new G63. This here, you have a little vent here. It's all to help with aerodynamics. Apparently the aerodynamics of the older G-Wagon are a coefficient of, I think 55 is what they rated, or maybe it's a 5.5, I don't know. But it's a 55. This one gets down to a 45 coefficient. And what they also did was this hood here bubbles a little bit to add in the aerodynamics. There's a little gap spacer up here to help with that transition. You also have the rims as well. These rims are more aerodynamic to keep the air from going in and making dirty air down the side of the vehicle. The front here too, obviously the bumper completely. Some of them have a very smooth look, like a different type of plastic up in here. But as you can see, they're a little bit smaller. It's a little bit more compact looking compared to the normal G63. That's really the only difference between all of them is a slight variance. Really no bumper, low bumper, high bumper on the old one. It's the best way to tell, actually. All right, guys, well, there you have it. The G-Wagon extravaganza review, as I like to call it. We had a lot of fun with them. The 6x6 we didn't get to take out. I am still trying to make a good impression on the owners of the luxury auto collection and allowing them to kind of see what we do and kind of the videos we produce, and then maybe build that relationship to where I can take out their $1 million G-Wagon before they sell it, hopefully, and bring that video to you guys next time. But in the meantime, I think we got a great review of all the main ones that are out on the road that you'll see, plus the crazy 4x4 squared, which you should rarely see out on the road. I've actually never seen one before until that moment, up close, I should say. So let's just quickly go over, you know, all four of them, what I like, what I don't like, and kind of rank them, you know, in the different categories of what I think they're, you know, the best at. I'm going to start with the power delivery. It's going to come down to this one. This one has the best power, the best sound. I'm going to tell you, after I got done reviewing all those, I am so happy to be back in this particular one out of all four. Now, I think the electric one would be fine too, but as far as throttle control, sound, and again, power, this one definitely wins that category. The older G63 was very surprising. That one, I'm going to say, is pretty good for just simple value. The value of that vehicle down at, you know, 60,000 to me is a bargain. It's not much different than this brand new style, but it didn't ride that bad. I mean, everybody always talks about the ride quality, and yes, it does bounce around a little bit, but I mean, they did a pretty good job. I know I've been told the much older ones, like 14 or 13 and below, they rode really, really bad, and they got it better over time. So the 2017 that I drove wasn't a good representation of where it got that reputation of being a real bouncy, unfun to drive vehicle, you know, through town. All right, for ride quality, although this one is great, I'm gonna have to give it to the electric. If you want a nice, quiet commute to your office, to work, to go out and drive every day as a daily driver, an electric vehicle across the board is very, very nice. One of the things I love about owning electric vehicles, people don't realize, is one, you never go to a gas station ever again. You're not really wasting your time at a gas station. Two, you charge every night like your cell phone, so you always have a full tank every day you go out. And in those vehicles, you get high 200-mile range per fill on the electric side. And that's all you're ever going to need. You're not going to need more than that on a day-to-day basis, and they charge overnight. So it's a really, really nice setup, these electric cars, when you actually start using them. People think, oh, I don't want to go sit and wait at a supercharger or the other chargers. They're not reliable. Well, that's true, but you're not doing that. The only time you're ever doing that is if you go on a road trip. So you got to plan out your road trips. You got to plan out a few breaks, which I think are actually kind of nice sometimes, when you have to take a break in the middle of nowhere at a Tesla supercharger for 30 minutes. You find yourself kind of getting caught up on life, maybe checking your phone then on a road trip, you know, things like that, you know, so you have a nice metered break, and I didn't mind it at all. I got used to it right away. So electric vehicles have a really, really strong place in, you know, automotive society and how we're using them, without a doubt. And as far as like just a nice, quiet, comfortable ride, that one's definitely going to win it. It takes all the best of the new technology of the G-Wagon and then refines it into electrical power. And then on the other end of the spectrum, now these all do stand out. Trust me, when you drive a G-Wagon in town, you might be the only one in town that really has one. They're not that common. is the squared is going to be the biggest as far as a standout from the crowd. If you want the attention, if you like that world of everybody coming up to you at a gas station, you know, that's kind of that type of a vehicle. Maybe shooting videos, maybe a YouTuber would love a car like that. It just grabs a ton of attention, and deservingly so. The ride quality is by far the worst out of all of them. Power is down because it's pushing like 37-inch tires. I measured them as like up to my waist, and that's probably about 36 inches is those tires. So they're massive. So to move that much weight, you're killing a ton of horsepower, even though it is rated like 560 horsepower or something like that. The overall feeling though from these G-Wagons is they're amazing. Their build quality, like I was saying on a Mercedes, is top notch. These German vehicles have figured it out a long time ago, and they didn't go by the wayside as they needed to make more money and more profits. You know, American cars through the 70s, 80s, 90s, they really tarnished our reputation because we just went down to the cheapest parts available. The road design to fail at 60,000 miles right after the warranty is definitely an American vehicle quality. And then the Japanese and other Asian market vehicles are just really thin. They're just crumple zone vehicles, right? You kind of wreck them and throw them away. You're not going to fix those type of vehicles. This type of a vehicle though, you really could. You could probably be in a decent accident. It's going to keep your family safe, and then you're going to repair it. You probably could repair it. It's a normal, what is it, body on frame, body on chassis type setup. So these are old school, big, heavy vehicles, and they show and they last a long time that way, to be honest. So overall, G-Wagon review, I really love them. I don't drive them personally every day. This is my wife's, her daily driver. She's actually wanting to get it back as soon as possible. For me though, when I jump in this, I love driving it. I always drive it when we go out, and it's just a great vehicle. Compared to like my Audi RS Q8, which is a platform that the Urus shares, I think even the Porsche might share the platform, especially I know it shares the engine. Those vehicles are a little bit softer, a little bit more for urban. They're a little bit lower. Actually, they're quite a bit lower. They're a little bit wider. Their stance, their presence is a little bit lower to the ground. And I will say though, compared to my Audi, the throttle control is night and day difference. The throttle control is the number one thing that I fight with that vehicle. This one is immediate. The electric one is immediate. There's no messing around. They didn't fiddle with that to get you 0.001% better gas mileage. Thank you, Mercedes. Please don't change that with the AMG vehicles. All of them are that way. They're all, you tip into the throttle and they reward you immediately. So which one do I like the most? This one. I'm sure you could have guessed it. Second, going to be the electric. Third, I actually think that down the road, I don't want to spend a ton of money, but I want a nice G-Wagon. I'm going to go with an older G63 without a doubt, especially when they drop down to 30, 40, 50,000. I think they're going to be a great bargain if they go that low. There's a lot of people that say they're never going to drop, that they're just going to stay the way they are. And maybe that is the bottom, and they're going to lock in as a classic that's much cheaper than the new stuff, and they drive pretty good. Plus, you could really put it through its paces. These are very capable vehicles. I put an all-terrain tire on this one just for that reason. I like to go four-wheeling sometimes. We go up to Sedona, we go around the lakes around here, you know, and kind of put it through its paces. I'm definitely not banging it up on rocks and pushing it through the sticks like you would, you know, a real four-wheel vehicle, but these are very capable and they're a lot of fun. They're designed to do it, especially if you have the tires. Okay guys, there you have it. That's the review. That's it. That's all of them. I'm burned out. I need to go home, take a break. We got a lot of filming to do coming up over the next few days. I'm going to try to create as much content as possible. We're going to be racing my Grand National. We're going to be doing some fun stuff with the Porsche, probably race that too. I have a new Ferrari I need to show you guys. I think we're going to make that all into one cool video and you know, knock that out over the next few days. So without further ado, let's get back to Luxury Auto Collection. Again, thank you, Chad, for allowing us to take these vehicles out and enjoy them properly and get a good review. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in today. Here with Chad at Luxury Auto Collection. It was an awesome day. We're running out of time. I'm gonna still twist your arm though to get in this one someday.
Heck yeah.
We need to come back, we need to finish up, do some more cars, maybe come on a day where we're not fighting around, you know, people here in and out, maybe coming on Sunday when you're closed. We were talking that'd be a nice quiet day to shoot. Yep. And then we can get a lot more content, you know. So right now though, we got to wrap it up. Hope you guys enjoyed the G-Wagon review extravaganza, if you will. And just again, thanks Chad, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Shane.
All right, guys.
Appreciate it.
And again, that's just another day, chilling with Chet. All right, let's go through all three of them and see which one looks better under the hood. There you go. Let's see what looks better under the hood. Not bad, it looks good. All right, let's go to the new 63. All right, I'm liking the older gen. I bet you this one's gonna be amazing. I mean, there's no way this one's not. Okay, we figured it out. That's not what we're supposed to see. It's a dual hood system. There we go. I mean, at least there's something there. I half thought it might just be completely neuter underneath. At least there's like exposed aluminum.